Okay, how are you? So, welcome to day one, video one. Beautiful sisters, welcome. This is day one of the 7 day water challenge. So, I am so glad you came back after watching the introductory video. So, it means that if you're watching this, that there's commitment and you're ready to take this on. So, your commitment shows up. You're drinking water, taking care of the body that God entrusted to you, like we said in the first video. It is worship. You're not just drinking water, you're honoring the God given gifts. And so today I want to help you know exactly how much water you'll be needing this week. So you can hydrate with confidence and start feeling lighter, clearer, and more energized. So a lot of women are dehydrated and don't even realize it, like mentioned earlier. So one, like mentioned earlier, dehydration slows your metabolism, increases your cravings, makes your digestion sluggish, and tightens up your midsection. When your body doesn't have enough water, it literally cannot release fat efficiently. But the good news is this is one of the easiest fixes we can do. Once you know your number, you can give your body what it needs every single day. Knowledge, they say, is power. And again, people perish for lack of knowledge. So let's get situated in calculating our numbers. So each person is going to be different in what their daily needs are, depending on their stress levels, body, height, weight, bone density, types of food that they eat, and just general lifestyle. So your needs are going to be different. Now, when I am talking to you one-on-one, we can be able to factor some of these things. However, because I'm not talking to you one-on-one, we're going to be a little bit more general. And now if you need further discussions on personalizing that number and making it more personal depending on all these other factors, because today we're just going to consider one factor, that is your body weight. If you want us to kind of start considering all these other factors, because I need to know your specific factors for us to be able to personalize all the other factors and consider them, then I will explain to you later how you can get in touch with me and we can be able to kind of have those discussions. The quickest way is get on my DMs. But for now, it's not a story. So the methods outlined here, they're just going to give you a basic know-how of what you might need per your body weight, holding all these other factors constant. Now, if you're using pounds, a lot of the people in the US do use pounds. I know a lot of people in the UK and in Africa, they use kilograms. So if you're using pounds, you're going to take your weight in pounds. You're going to divide that number by 2. And then you're going to get, so the number that you get after dividing by 2, you're going to take away the pounds at the end of that number and put ounces. So that's the amount of water you're supposed to drink in ounces. Now, for example, if your weight is 160 pounds, you divide by 2, you get 80. So that's going to be your daily goal for water, 80 ounces. It is simple, it's doable, and one of the most accurate methods. Now, if you're using kilograms and you prefer to use liters, because a lot of the conversions, a lot of people use kilograms, tend to want to do liters. Now, if you use kilograms and you want to convert that into ounces, you're more comfortable with the ounces, you want to take your weight in kilograms, multiply that by 2.2. That will be your number in ounces. That will be your weight in pounds. Now, once you get the weight in pounds, then you're going to follow the same method, dividing that number by 2, not 2.2. So there's a difference. When you're converting kilograms to pounds, you multiply by 2.2. When you're converting the pounds to ounces, you divide by just 2, no points. Now, so if you're just converting your kilograms into liters, you're going to take your number in kilograms. For example, if you weigh 80 kilograms, you're going to take that number and multiply it by 30. When you multiply that number by 30, because it's considered that you need at least 30 millimeters of water for every kilogram that you have. So 80 multiplied by 30, the number that you get, which is going to be 2,400, will be in mLs. That will be in millimeters. So for you to get your liters, you're going to divide that by 1,000, which is going to give you 2.4 liters. If you weigh 75 kilograms, you multiply that by 30, you're going to get 2,250. When you divide that by 1,000, you get 2.25 liters. So that will be your goal of water. So this is going to be extremely important depending on where your weight is. So those are your numbers. Now, remember we said to just make it a little bit more general because I don't have your specifics. This number is just very general to weight. Now, if your number goes beyond a gallon, for those who are using ounces, which is 128 ounces, which is a gallon, you need to take that as your max water. There is something as overhydration, and we're going to talk about it later in the week. So a gallon is kind of the goal. If your weight goes beyond 128, half of your weight goes beyond 128, you need to take 128 ounces as your max. If your weight goes below 64 ounces, if your weight gives you less than 64 ounces, 68 will be your, like if it goes below 68, 68 is going to be your minimum water intake. I know there are people who are shorter and who are their weight is less, and their numbers when they divide by 2, it's going to give them less than 68. So that should be your minimum. If you're using liters, then your water cannot exceed 3.5 liters a day. So how do you know if your water is working for you? 1, you start having fewer cravings, less bloating, more energy, smoother digestion, clearer skin, and yes, your midsection will begin to soften. That's not magic. That's hydration, doing what God designed it to do. Your cells come back to life when you give them sufficient water. Scripture reminds us over and over that water is a symbol of refreshing, cleansing, and new beginnings. Just as Jesus offers living water to our souls, he becomes the living water through his word. We take care of the physical temple by giving it natural water. Every sip is a reminder that you are worth caring for and that you have a commandment to take care of your body. So today, this is your assignment. As you drink your water, calculate your numbers. I want you to calculate your number, post it inside the group, share how you will break it down morning, afternoon, evening, and then start strong. This challenge isn't about perfection, remember. It's about faithfulness, one obedient step at a time. Keep going. Your body is responding, your spirit is getting strengthened, and you are building habits that honor both your body and your faith. I'm cheering you on, remember, and I cannot wait to see what God is going to do through your consistency. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next.